We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.
Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store, Forged Irish Stout, and now freebets.com. Delighted to be joined by Harlem Eubank. Always a pleasure. Thanks for making this time. I know you're in the States getting prepared for... Are you going to the Jake Paul fight this weekend?
I was going to go, but I can't be asked to go down there no more. So just going to chill here in Miami, enjoy it for a few more days before I head back.
You've been out there with Abbas Barao by all accounts. You saw him get his dub. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's great. It was cool to see him out here training in his new setup with Jorge Rubio. Saw him in the gym and, train alongside him and prep for his fights. Didn't do the business, set up big fights for him in 2024. He'll be kicking off the year with some big fights. So, yeah, excited for him. Great to be out here with him and, soaking in Miami.
Well, look, it's been an interesting year. Before we go into any sort of specifics, just sort of sum up what 2023 has been like for you. Inside, outside the ring, just sum it up for us.
A lot's happened in the year. Had some good times, some great fights that, built me as a fighter and prepared me for big things, and had a lot of challenges outside the ring as well. A lot of different moving parts and a lot to deal with outside the ring. So it's been a year of many ups and downs and things you can't control, but a year where I've had to stay focused and stay dedicated to the task, and I've done that, and I'm looking forward to a very bright 2024 inside the ring.
You had a lot of change. You tampered how things are going. You've now obviously got Chris Eubank Sr. on board. And we know there's been a lot of things happen, obviously, outside the ring. I don't think it's important we dwell on that too much because there's a lot of things that happen in life, the ups and downs. But he is now a welcomed addition to your team. I think it's, for what it's worth, not my opinion is worth much, but an absolutely brilliant addition to you. And obviously, he's a very good talker, and he likes to talk the talk, and you then go back that up and do it in the ring. How did this come about? Just talk to us how this dynamic came, because you've always been close, but now you've sort of sealed it by making yourselves this team, much like you did for Chris Jr. But now he's with yourself. Just talk to me about how this came about.
He's always kind of been there to give me advice, and he's always been close and always watched my fights and been excited on the phone to me the day after, talking about what he liked and what he see from the fight. So he's always been very close and helping me along from the outside, and a kind of space came available, and I see him at my father's funeral, and we had a conversation, and he felt like at that time he wanted to take more of an active role in my career and be beside me going forward, and kind of look after me more, and the space was there to kind of welcome him onto the team beside me. And it's great. It kind of came organically. It wasn't anything forced. It kind of all happened on that day, really, which is a pretty spiritual thing, going forward, that we can make that bond and carry that forward into next year. It's going to be great to have him by my side. That knowledge, that wisdom, everything he brings is a welcomed addition.
What's his sort of introduction done for you? Obviously, the experience and what he's done in the game. One of them things I don't think we need to talk about. Boxing, what he brings to the table. Seen all, like, pitfalls of boxing, the highs of boxing. But what's he specifically doing to you? Because it seems like you've got that sort of spark back? Is that I don't say it ever went, but is that give you that extra sort of kick? You know, when you've got someone like that with you who's been there, seen it, and done it, kind of thing, give you that extra kick.
100%. It brings a whole different world of pressure, which is what you want in this game. It's a pressure sport, you know, and having him beside you brings that extra pressure to go out there and you know, handle business, go out there and perform. So I think, you know, when he's there, it adds that much fuel to the fire to go out there and you know, uplift that family name that's brought that's created such a great legacy in the sport. So yeah, it's a reminder having him right beside you to go out and, you know, uplift that name and you know, wield it high, and do the name proud.
You experienced a certain amount at a certain weight. Now wanting to move to 147, you're coming off spectacular performance and a clinical victory. How do you think your sort of game's developed over the years? I remember seeing you in one of my first gold with contract. At a certain level, you seem to really every fight, obstacles you overcome. You know, I've seen you've had, you know, the DQ, the guy who's like sort of constantly fouling and hitting you after the break. You experienced quite a lot on the rugged fights. You're exactly where you need to be after having like the proper seasoning.
Oh, definitely. I've had the fights. You know, I've had the you know, the South American guys where on paper, you know, they're not you know, they're not fighters with accolades, but they can fight better than the fighters with accolades, you know, in terms of fighting, not boxing. So I've been seasoned in the fight game, as well as the boxing. You know, I've been trying to learn the craft for a long time. The last 11 years, you know, I've been in the gym every day trying to perfect it, and I think I've got to a level where I'm ready to show people that craft that I've learned now, and that is not only boxing, that's fighting. That's what it is. You know, when you get in there, it's a fight, win by any means, within the rule set, and that's what I'm seasoned in now. So I'm ready for them fights where I can really show that to the people.
Do you think, obviously, last fight was a bit of a step up, that reputation of being tough, you know, nobody stops him, and it's always that acid test where you see a fighter who's coming, it's like, if he's going to struggle against him, around that level, but you didn't and you excelled. Do you think as the opponents get better that you'll continue to sort of rise to the occasion, like shoot up in levels? Do you need that competition so that you can show more of yourself?
Yeah, I definitely need that. I said before that fight, I said, you know, people were talking about it as the biggest test thus far, in terms of opposition. Like you say, never been stopped. Been in there with world-class opposition. And I said before that fight, every fight that is, you know, the biggest test of my career, that's where I perform. That's where I bring out the statement performances. And you know, a lot of the time the statement finishes because the opponents are more game, where they're coming and trying to take you out of there. He said before the fight, he was gonna knock me out, and that's what he came to do. That's you know, clearly his intention in the fight, and that's where I bring my best every time.
The hardest thing for people like yourself who naturally want to box and you carry this last name, and through no fault of your own, you have that name. I spoke to, you know, you look at the Furies, Tommy Furies, like you've got it with that Eubank name, Chris. Obviously, you carry this sort of pressure from the past of accolades and world titles and stuff, and it's hard to sometimes make your own name. But obviously, Chris is now, you know, well and truly gone, and he's made his own name. Do you feel now, like after years of sort of hard work and coming through, because you're off of like another line, you've got Eubank Sr, Jr, and then you've come along. Do you feel like now you have got that thing where it is like, no, look, this is Harlem Eubank, not, you know, relation of Chris Sr, not relation of Jr. You are now now you have now sort of you have 100% solidified yourself and you've carved out your own path. Do you feel like that now that you're at that point, it's a bit of a relief because it is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to be committed to the cause, you know, through the tough times where you're not necessarily getting the rewards for the work you're putting in. You have to. That's what the game's about. It's a lot of sacrifice and years of sacrifice with the belief that you'll get there, and that's what I think boxing is. And I've got to the point now where I've done the hard yards. You know, I've gone through them times where you're not getting the reward for the work you're putting in, but it's all for a greater cause. It's all to prepare you for the big nights and the accolades that you can achieve in the future. And you know, I think I'm ready to go and achieve them now, and ready to go and mix it with the big boys and show where I'm at.
When you talk about mixing with the big boys, coming into 2024, there's some huge fights on your horizon, domestically, across the pond, wherever you look. I know after your last fight, yourself, Chris Sr, were like, look, Conor Benn, we can do that fight. Before we talk about yourself, I know you would be serious. You say, I will take that fight. That's not a problem. But let's just quickly touch on it, because if I don't ask you, everyone will go, why wouldn't I ask? So that fight's off, apparently. 1,000% not happening to Mr. Carlos Sauerland. I think Eddie Hearn is saying it comes down to money if this fight doesn't happen. It's on Chris Jr. What have you made of the whole scenario? And I know there's probably some stuff you maybe can't go into just because it's the intricacies of boxing, but what have you made of this whole scenario?
It's a fantasy fight, and you know, the illusion, the fantasy has kind of worn off, and now it's time to take a real fight. The real fight is at 147. Listen, the fantasy is entertaining. It's you know, different weight classes. It's misfits. You know, it's entertainment boxing. It's not real boxing. So yeah, it's time to come back to the real world, and that real world is 147. That's Harlem Eubank. I'm ready to step in February. It's a simple fight to make. It's simple.
Do you think Conor Benn being Conor Benn, obviously, Chris Jr.'s off the table? He needs to fight him. I know there's been talk of Devin Haney and stuff like that, but I know Devin. I've been looking at things. What do you make of that? Because if he doesn't fight, you can obviously understand if he gets shot, goes down that route to keep like big money spinner, belts on the line. But if he doesn't go down that route, are you a viable option for him? Do you think you could come to the table and offer him something, and likewise?
It's the real offer. Look, the Devin Haney fight, it's like me saying, you know, I'll fight Teofimo next, which I would, but is it likely going to happen? They've got better options. You know, they've achieved world champion and beyond already. This is the fight to make at this stage. It's all well and good talking about these fantasy fights, and you know, you'll have the top dog in the division next. It's fantasy. People are bored of fantasy now. You know, you've been talking about a fight with guy 2-3 weight divisions above you for the last, you know, 1.5 years plus. People are bored of delusion now. It's time for reality. It's time for taking fights in your weight division, and that's the fight to make next.
If you fight Conor Benn, how does the fight go? I know you're not going to break me down tactically what you do, because that, you know, going into it, that'd be a bit silly. But do you believe you stop Conor Benn? Do you believe you take him into deep waters? How would you beat a guy like Conor Benn?
So I think I can take it any which way. The last guy I fought had never been stopped. I didn't go out there and try and stop him, but I hurt him multiple times. I boxed, I could fight, and you know, that's the same way I take any fight. You know, you don't go out there and try and take a man out in the first round. But yeah, I think, you know, I can outbox him. I think I can stop him. I can win that fight in multiple different ways. So it's just about how he would come out and approach it. But yeah, I think any which way it goes, I come out on top.
If not Conor Benn, you obviously need to fight, and you need worthy opponents of a certain level so that you can continue progressing, because you all get into this game to win world titles and obviously put some money in the bank for later years so you can continue living a good life. So if it's not Conor Benn, you've got a lot of options domestically. What are the sort of names you're looking at? And this isn't me getting you to sort of, I want start calling on, but who are the names that you want to share the ring with? If not, what are your options? I know you'll fight anyone.
I'm looking at fights. If it's not that fight, it's fights that will take me towards that world title. That world title shot that I want. It's fights that are going to take me closer to that. I see the card the other night. There's a lot of top names that I'd like to fight, but ultimately it's the guys that are going to take me closer to that world title shot. So yeah, that's the route. Should Conor not accept this challenge?
What's this year taught you? What's been the biggest lesson that 23's taught you? You mentioned, sort of alluded to earlier in the interview without having about it, you've experienced a lot outside the ring. You've gone through a lot. Your family has a couple of years. So in and out the ring, what's been the biggest lesson for you, 2023?
I think within boxing, to stay focused and to stay focused, stay on the path. I believe it's my destiny. So to stay committed to that mission, to stay committed to that path laid out for me, keep my faith strong, and appreciate family outside of the ring, and appreciate the people around me, and the important things in life. But in terms of boxing, stay really dedicated to the craft, like I have been, and stay ready to showcase what I can do in there.
Right, last couple. Can I anything for Christmas? What would it be? Can be materialistic. I've had a couple of different answers, so it can be what you want. I don't feel like you have to say world peace kind of thing. You know what I mean?
For Christmas.
Doesn't have to be like physical. Just like what do you want? What do you want for Christmas? If you could have anything
for Christmas, I'm gonna just be with my family and friends. That's what I'm gonna be doing for Christmas. That's all I want.
Good answer. Right, New Year's resolutions, partner.
Make moves towards world champions.
Absolutely. That's a perfect way to end this. Look, Harlem, always a pleasure catching up with you. Spent a lot of time around you the other week in Belfast. It's going to be an interesting year. Hopefully, get these big fights that you want and continue on this run. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Good speaking, bro.
We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.